Hi there. Okay, it's another underground tricentennial moment in New Orleans. We're at Moisant Field. Well, no longer Moisant Field. Well, it is still MSY on your plane ticket. However, John Moisant, who was the first guy to fly a commercial plane internationally when he flew someone from London to Paris across the English Channel, first person to ever have a passenger in a plane around 1910. Also the first person to ever build an all-metal airplane. He would fly out of New Orleans periodically, and he'd come here during that period in the early 1900s. People didn't know what aviation was, so there was a lot of, as we call them, the daredevils, these shows that would go on, the barnstormers. He was one of those guys. He did that as well, and he died here in New Orleans. New Orleans was one of his hubs. He had about 6 cities that he operated out of. The field, they named it right after him. They called it the Moisant Stockyards because it was actually a field at that time. And as the years went by, they put this airport on the field, so it was Moisant Airport. Fitting because the man died here. He was actually promoting air travel. He was racing his plane against a Packard the day before, and he had another thing he was doing the day he died. Had that name forever. Engineer, inventor, businessman. They decided to rename it Louis Armstrong Airport. Now, I love Louis Armstrong. I love his music. Going to a music hall named for him makes a lot of sense to me. But why wouldn't you decide to name this after Louis Prima, who brought in swing? Louis Armstrong had jazz. Louis Prima from New Orleans, went to New York, went to Las Vegas, taught the Rat Pack guys. He was a little bit older than them. Martin Sinatra used to hang out with him. Prima came here in his last years and passed away here. His daughter still performs at the Montleon. Or actually, there's Nick LaRocca, who also was one of the pioneers of jazz. Louis Armstrong came after Nick and would sing Nick's songs, ragtime, that Nick would have been promoting when he was discovered here in the early 1900s and toured the East Coast promoting jazz. But we renamed it. I don't think I can find out the reason why is they said that Moisant was a daredevil. That's how they described him. They didn't say he was a businessman or an inventor of passenger travel or anything else. So I'm here. I used to remember driving by this thing. We got a Delta plane behind us. What I always remember back in the 60s when we would drive past here is that, I don't know what to call it, the Quonset hut type look. You can see that was the original terminal. They're expanding. A lot of expansion going on back there. Big plans for New Orleans Airport. We now have international flights. The deal is also with the smart inauguration, you want whoever gets elected to start putting those contracts in place. We had a deal in New Orleans back when Mark Morial got out of office. Some of his staff went to jail for giving out contracts during that lame duck period to Johnson Controls and taking very large commissions to do so. So it makes little sense to no sense to allow the city council and the mayor to stay in office an extra 5 months to give out contracts that the new people have to then live with. So let's go for that smart inauguration. Call your city council members, send them an email, whatever. Say, look, put it on the agenda and let the people vote for it. Let the people decide if they want a smart inauguration. This got endorsed by Citizens for Better New Orleans about 7 years ago. League of Women Voters started it. So we're trying to get it to fruition so that we install people in January. We let those people appoint the commissioners if they want to change the police chief, whatever solutions they got. And they also supervise the contracts. So we don't have no bid contracts going out. We have accountability because those guys are going to be in office for a while. Again, our site is Save Nola Heritage because we think airports that are named after people who brought aviation and to promote engineering and business, we should stay. We need a balance, stuff we name for musicians in New Orleans versus stuff we name for engineers. Because I'm an engineer. I'm a little biased there. So hoping the plane might take off while we're here. We had 2 while we're setting up. Who doesn't love an airport? So again, it's great. You can see in the distance the construction. It's Delta flight there. And wish you guys a good Sunday and hope you're staying cool. Take care. Oh, there's a plane. I think we see a Gulf Stream either coming in or getting ready to take off. So I'll roll this for a few seconds. He is just taxiing, so nothing major going on right now.